Welcome to Market Matters. I'm Khoo Chong as usual, and I'm joined, of course, by Charlotte Chong. 31st December 2015, and just like that, bam, the year has gone by, Charlotte. What an amazing...
Have you achieved anything in this year?
Actually, not a lot.
Have you ticked all the the thing on your list this year?
No, I've put on more weight. I've got fewer friends, and I think I drink more alcohol now. So I'm not sure whether that's achieving anything. But for the year gone by, Charlotte, the ringgit. The currency is actually the worst performing one in Asia this year. Quite terrible, 23% of value lost. Worse than any other currency in Asia, including the rupiah. Terrible.
It's actually, that's the reason why we can't have good holidays like what Nadia said. Now, actually US dollar, ringgit versus US dollars was at 4.3, traded at 4.3 today. And Najib actually came out with an article. His message, he said that the dip of oil prices is impacted our finances more than most. And every US dollar you see of the price per barrel actually means a 300 million ringgit drop in our government's revenue.
Well, that's only partially true, as everybody knows, because the fair value, even with the collapse in the ringgit, is somewhere around 3.85 or 3.9 ringgit to the dollar. The rest of it is, of course, blamed on A, B, and C, as we know. Well, as you know, during the year, of course, our forex reserves were depleted severely to defend the currency. We now sit at about $95 billion at the end of November, quite a way down from the $110, $115 billion in reserves we had earlier this year. Quite bad from that standpoint.
Talking about Bank Negara Malaysia, actually Tan Sri Zati Aghdar Aziz, she said that ringgit shouldn't be that bad, shouldn't be at this level, 4.3. It should be at about 3.8, but it has actually factored in a lot of political issues, a lot of uncertainties. Oil prices especially play a very important role.
Yeah, Tan Sri Zati, of course, the only voice of reason. She's the only lone wolf out there talking about Malaysia's fundamentals. But let's snap along to 1MDB. And the last day of the year, we also saw the announcement of the Bandar Malaysia sale to Tan Sri Lim Kang Hoo's Iskandar Waterfront Holdings. That is the third and final nail in the 1MDB debt coffin, because halfway through this year, we saw the IPIC do a debt for asset swap worth about 16 billion ringgit. Also, that announcement, I wasn't really sure what they're trying to do. I think it's something along the lines of the IPIC paying for 1MDB's loan obligations, but in exchange for what, I don't really know.
Yeah, the asset swap is rather vague at this point of time, but today, Arul Khanna actually threw a press conference, and he said that rationalization plan has been completed for 1MDB. And other than asset swap that you mentioned about IPIC, they actually sold energy assets, EDRA energy assets, to China General Nuclear Corp Berhad for about 7.84 billion ringgit. And today, they sold another piece of land, Bandar Malaysia, to Iskandar Waterfront Holdings Berhad.
Yeah, so if you do the sum, 16 billion ringgit to IPIC, I think it was 9.8 billion ringgit for EDRA. So that's, 23 billion plus the Bandar 1 Malaysia, 7 billion, that's of course about 30 billion, plus of course the debts accruing to for EDRA. So all in all, around about 40 billion ringgit or so. Maybe this time next year when we talk about all this, Charlotte, 1MDB will be nothing but a bad dream.
But do you think all the issues have been solved?
Absolutely not. Okay, the debts may have been settled, the money may have been accounted for, but no one really knows. Has anyone gone to jail for all the ridiculous 42 billion ringgit in liabilities that have been siphoned off from Malaysian people?
I think what the citizens, what Malaysians really want to know is need to know more transparent things coming out from 1MDB. We need to know what actually happened in 1MDB. We need people to come out and explain, to clarify what happened in the investment fund.
Yeah, it's not far away from being a footnote, right? Of course, because the assets may have been sold to other parties, namely the Chinese with the CGNC and of course the CRCC. But the governance concern has not gone away. In fact, it's still there, very, very much present, and of course kept alive by the Wall Street Journal. And of course, there's the Ayatam land in Penang, which is yet to be sold for 1MDB. Let's move along to other things within the course of the year. The KLCI, terrible year for us, down by 4%, worse than the Nikkei 225, worse than the Australian ASX 200, worse than the Shanghai Composite. Oil and gas financials, blue chips led declines. We've had a pretty torrid year on the index viewpoint.
But actually, not just KLCI dropped the most in the region. I think Jakarta Composite Index and other indices in the region also dropped very severely as well this year because of what happened in the global market. Just before US Federal Reserve increased rate hike, we saw the entire region actually plunge quite a lot in all their indices.
That's right. The Chinese share market had the worst plunge of all in June this year, quite a lot. They lost all their gains by that point in time. But you know, Malaysia's always been quite a defensive market, quite resilient, very low beta. We never fall as much as the rest, and we never rise as much as the rest. So for us to lose 4%, at a time when the Shanghai Composite actually did about 10% growth for the year, that obviously doesn't bode very well for us. Oil, Charlotte.
Commodity prices.
45% plunge from the
46%
$65 per barrel
this year,
December last year, currently about $38 per barrel. Not very good for us, as you say. Every dollar drop in the oil, in price of oil, means 300 million ringgit loss for us.
So actually, basically, oil prices affect us the most, because we are a net export country, and Dato' Johari actually came out saying that government won't revise budget because of the drop of oil prices, and he said that the government would need to do adjustment on all the other things like spending on development expenditure instead of revising the budget.
No,
so he actually doesn't think that government would actually revise the budget because of
We shall see, because the price of our oil budgeted at $48 per barrel, currently at $37 per barrel. So Charlotte, where the ringgit is concerned, I think, and I'm pretty sure that most economists will agree with this, the primary determinant of the ringgit will be where oil prices are. If where oil prices are will determine where the ringgit is. Now, where are you? Are you 5 or are you 3.85?
So actually, there's two schools of thoughts: lower or higher.
That's right.
But I personally am pretty pessimistic. I think oil will actually going to be traded lower.
So many reasons, right? Clearly.
Because Saudi actually committed, they say that they will maintain market share, and OPEC refused to cut production. And also US actually came out with a report a couple of months ago saying that they have lifted export ban. So we will see a lot of production, a lot of inventories in oil in the market. Don't you think so?
Yeah, maybe, but you know, oil and the share markets don't necessarily always move in tandem. And I've been doing some research, and I've seen that people like MIDF, people like CIMB, people like Afin Huang, they all reckon that the share market in Malaysia will be really, really good next year, right? We entered the year at 1,700 points on the KLCI. All these three guys think we're going to be 1,800 points on the KLCI by the end of 2016. That's another 6% upside from today.
I'm not really convinced.
You're not convinced?
Yeah.
Why not?
So let me talk about oil a little bit more. Saudi Arabia's oil ministers actually say that we will satisfy the demand of our customers, and they say they will actually increase the barrels to 2.63 million.
Correct. So that's going to be a glut, and maybe the oversupply will continue. But from the share market perspective, right, 1,800 points will be another 6% upside from here on in. And they might just have a point, because when I look at Terence Wong's report on CIMB's research, this big slowdown will occur every 10 years, and in 2017, 2018, the slowdown will occur, right? And every time before a slowdown, there's a huge rally in the share market.
But historically, when you talked about KLCI, historically, we would see KLCI trended upwards by the end of the year. But we don't see the trend this month. Actually, everything is going down. Because probably it's because of Federal Reserve raising the interest rates this month.
That's right. Well, fortune favors the brave. But if you look at it, right, the other primary determinant of where the Malaysian ringgit will be, and as well as the Malaysian market, will be what the Federal Reserve does in terms of the 25 basis point hike in December. Now, expectations are for them to raise another 2 more times in 2016. Shallow, not deeper. Faster, not slower. What do you reckon?
I think they will, eventually they will actually increase it to 25 points.
Least, right?
Janet Yellen say that.
Okay. Well, of course, we're nearly out of time, but it's all to play for. Of course, 2016 is a big crunch year, for not just for the government, but of course for the people of Malaysia as well. Hopefully, it's going to be a much better year than 2014, 2015. Not much to look forward to, or not much to look back on, but much more to look forward to. So, hopefully, fingers crossed. Cheers to you, Charlotte Chong.
Cheers.
2 more hours
Happy
before the end of the
Year.
year. So thank you for watching. Of course, if you want to get more on The Edge and all the fantastic stuff that we've been talking about, go to theedgemarkets.com or pick up a copy of the hard copy from all good newsstands. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year. Good night.